Here we're going to run through all 61 mounts added during the Stormblood expansion and where they come from. We'll group them by their original origin, and as with the last video, we'll kick off with exploration content, this time meaning the mounts added via Eureka, of which there were 4. Kicking things off, we have one of my personal faves, which is the Tyrannosaur mount, which is dropped from lockboxes within the first area of Eureka Animus. Second, we have the Eldthurs mount, which is dropped in Gold Bunny lockboxes from the 3rd Eureka Zone Pyros. This is also now obtainable via the Material 4 containers from your Grand Company and the market board. Third up, the Eurekan Petrel mount, which is also dropped in Gold Bunny lockboxes, this time from the 4th Eureka Zone Hydatos. Again, this is also obtainable via Material 4 containers and the market board. Lastly, a mount listed after by many, the Demiosma mount. This is an achievement mount from completing the Baldessian Arsenal 48-man instance at the end of the Eureka content. FYI, the Baldessian Arsenal itself is pretty straightforward now, with a shout out to the awesome Discord communities and groups that are out there, always keen and happy to take newbies through the instance. I'm no pro raider and I got through it first time of asking, so definitely don't be put off. Next up, we have one mount added from achievement certificates, that is the Magitech Deathclaw. This is traded for 6 achievement certificates with Johannes in Old Gradana. If unaware, that same NPC will hand you one of those certificates for every 50 points you've amassed in your achievement log. Next, we'll cover the mounts provided by Stormblood's Beast Tribes. First up, we've got the Striped Ray mount. Great mount to use under the water. This one is obtained from the Kojin Beast Tribe in the Ruby Sea after getting them to rank 8 Bloodsworn. Next up, in what is an unusual move for later expansions, we have the Inata Beast Tribe in the Fringes, which actually added 2 mounts. Firstly, the Married mount for getting them to rank 7 Sworn, and second, the True Griffin mount for getting the same tribe to rank 8 Bloodsworn. Last, we have the Mikoshi mount, which is obtained from getting the Nanamizu Beast Tribe in the Fringes to rank 8 Bloodsworn. Next, we'll cover those pesky real money mounts, and with 12 being added to the game, that unfortunately gives Stormblood the title of adding the most real money mounts. First up, the Sildra mount. This was part of the Stormblood Collector's Edition. If you still want this, you can upgrade your current standard version to receive this via the Mog Station. Second, the Managram mount, which is purchasable from Calamity salvagers in the game with 8 gold chocobo feathers. If unaware, you obtain these feathers from recruiting friends into the game, though your friend has to actually pay for a sub before you receive them, so essentially a long-winded real money mount. Next, the SDS Fenrir, a super iconic mount from Final Fantasy VII. This was originally from the 2018-19 Fan Festival, now available in the cash shop. Next, the Fat Black Chocobo mount. This was originally added as part of a tie-in with Amazon game purchases, but it's subsequently been offered as part of a promotional Twitch sub-campaign, and most recently as part of the Twitter sweepstakes competition. The next 8 mounts are just straight up purchased from the cash shop, so we'll move through them fairly quickly. We have the Mystic Panda, the Citrine Carbuncle, the Aquamarine Carbuncle variation, the Nezhar Chariot, very cool, the Red Hair mount, the Indigo Whale mount, the Magicked Carpet mount, and the eternally cute Fatter Cat. Next, in stark contrast to Shadowbringers, we have one singular mount added via crafting, and that is the Flying Chair, which was added to the Alchemist's Recipe Book. Moving on, 3 mounts added via dungeons. First 2 from the Deep Dungeon Heaven on High. First, the Judy mount, which is for beating floor 100 of Heaven on High 4 times. And second from Heaven on High, the Dodo Mount, which is a random drop from a platinum sack within Heaven on High, dropped on floors 71 to 100. This is another one you can also obtain from Material Container 4s now from your Grand Company, and also on the market board. The third dungeon mount is actually just from the level 70 dungeon Alamigo, and that is the Magitech Predator, which is dropped from the last boss in that dungeon. Next on our run through, 3 mounts from seasonal events. We have the Starlight Bear, initially from the Starlight Celebration in 2017. This is now available via the cash shop. The Broken Heart Left mount, initially from the Valentine's event in 2018, also now in the cash shop. And then obviously the Broken Heart Right chair, exactly the same as the prior mount. Next, we'll cover the mounts added via Extreme Trials, which, interestingly for Stormblood, added 9 mounts to the game instead of the usual 8. Kicking things off, we have the 7 Kamui mounts. I'm sure I'll get completely bullied for that pronunciation, so I'll not repeat it each time. First, the Reveling, which is dropped from the Pool of Tribute Extreme. Second, Blissful, dropped from Emanation Extreme. Third, Legendary, dropped from the Minstrel's Ballad, Shinryu's Domain. Next, Auspicious, dropped from Jade Stower Extreme. Then, Luna, dropped from the Minstrel's Ballad, Tokusomi's Pain. Euphonious from Hell's Keer Extreme. Then lastly, Hallowed, dropped from the Wreath of Snakes Extreme. Noting that in addition to being straight drops from the Extreme Trials, they can also be traded for 99 totems which are also dropped from the respective trials. We then, of course, have the Kamui of Ninetales, the Ultra Super Extreme Trial mount, obtained via a simple quest which is unlocked after getting all 7 of the previous mounts from the Extreme Trials. Noting, I believe it was the last Moogle Moonstone event actually offered all of the previous mounts in one go, which is how I actually went about obtaining them without farming a single one of the Extremes. I previously mentioned that there was actually a 9th Extreme Trial unusually added in Stormblood, and that was the Rathalos mount, dropped from the Great Hunt Extreme, or obtained with 50 scales which are also dropped from the Extreme Trial. Make sure you kill that tail to get those scales. Now I know that there is a lot of love out there for this mount, but I still feel every time I see it that it's often underloved. Absolutely love it. I think graphically, for some bizarre reason, it's one of the best looking mounts in the game. The textures, the way the wings flap in the wind, it just looks absolutely sensational. Next category, we have one mount this time which is added via Fates, and this was the Ixion mount, which is exchanged for 12 Ixion horns, dropped from the Fate, a horse outside in the locks. Note this is also available now via Faux Hollows and Wondrous Tales currencies. Next, 3 mounts added during Stormblood to the Gold Saucer content. Firstly, the Corpacor Colossus mount, brought with 750,000 MGP. Second, the very cool Typhoon mount, again brought with 750,000 MGP. And last, the Sabatender Emperador mount, which is actually brought with a whopping 2 million MGP. Next, a mount which most of us will have, which is conveniently added via the MSQ, which was the Yol mount. Then, we have, surprisingly for later expansions, 4 mounts added via PvP, which are actually still available to this day. Kicking us off, we have the Magitech Avenger mount, which is obtained via achievement for winning 100 rival wings matches. Next, the Safeguard System mount for winning 100 frontlines matches. Third, the Magitech Sky Armor mount, brought with 20,000 wolf marks. And lastly, the Magitech Avenger A1 mount, obtained after winning 100 times on the Hidden Gorge map of Rival Wings. Moving on, we had the usual 3 mounts added via Savage. First, the Alteroite mount, dropped from OS4, aka Deltascape V4.0. Second, the Air Force mount, dropped from OS8, aka Sigmascape V4.0. I hate to say it, and fair play to anyone who actually likes this mount. What do they say? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder or something. But this, along with the mount recently from their Fall Guys event, which I generally hope to never actually see come across my screen. Not my style at all. Breaking my immersion with the game. But lastly, to round off the Savage mounts, we had the awesome Model O mount, which was dropped from OS 12, aka Alphascape V4.0. Next up, in Stormblood we had 3 mounts added via tank achievements, 1 for each of the tanks we had at that stage in the game. So first, the Battle Panther, achieved by completing 300 dungeons or extreme trials of at least level 61 plus, on real trials, level 50 or 80 roulettes, or the leveling roulette as a Dark Knight. As mentioned in my ShadowBringers vid, content difficulty depending, you can do these solo and unsynced. So spamming the level 61 dungeon is an option. Next, we have the Battle Bear, achieved in exactly the same way, this time for Warrior. And third, the Battle Lion. Again, same method, this time for Paladin. Next, we have a single mount added via the Hunt content, and that was the Centauro Tiger, and this was for the usual achievement of killing 2,000 A ranks and 1,000 S ranks in Stormblood areas, which, as usual, is a monstrous achievement to be respected. And lastly, as per usual, we have 8 mounts that are not currently available in the game, though one of these will be again very soon. First, as was common for this period of the game, we have 6 mounts added via the Feast for finishing in the top 100 in a season on your data center. Season 4 actually offered 2 mounts. First, the Lone Feyhound for finishing top 100 solo ranks. And second, the Pack Feyhound for finishing in the top 100 party ranks. Next, for Season 7, there was the Magitech Conveyor. Then the Prototype Conveyor for Season 8. The Magna Rhoda for Season 11. And then the Maxima Rhoda for Season 12. Outside of PvP, there was also the Falcon mount, which was part of a promotional campaign celebrating Stormblood's release, and it was obtained by subscribing to the game for a minimum of 90 days during a specific period of time. And lastly, one with a light at the end of the tunnel, we have the Regalia Type G mount, obtained via the Final Fantasy XV collaboration event, for which, literally about an hour before I started recording this, there was a post on the Lodestone to say this event's going to be back up at the end of February for a couple of weeks. Although Stormblood didn't add any of my very favourite mounts in the game, it did have a few very notable highlights. For me, one of them unfortunately was real money related in the SDS Fenrir, but also I absolutely love the Demi-Osma mount, both aesthetically and the journey to get there, and last, as I kind of insinuated before, the Rathalos mount is an absolute beaut. Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. As always, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed, please take the 1 second to hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's a giant help. All done. Like and subscribe to complete the duty.